AEW Dynamite held its most recent studio show in what looked to be an actual studio for once. And it was actually pretty alright. Let's get into it, because we got quite a bit to talk about. This is All Elite Review. What's happening, ladies and germs? This is the PackerMan, and welcome to today's edition of All Elite Review. We're going to be talking about Dynamite episode number 24, which was yet another studio show. Now, you might be wondering why I only showed the men's rankings this week. Well, because between last week's Dynamite and this week's Dark, there were no tag team matches and no women's matches. It was just all men's singles matches, which I don't recall that happening before. So, needless to say, this whole coronavirus shit has caused a lot of problems in a lot of different facets. But basically, AEW held a shit ton of tapings this past Tuesday and Wednesday. So now they, according to some sources, they've got enough content to last about another couple months. So, because they might be forced to shut things down for a while because they had to move operations to Georgia after Florida issued a stay-at-home order, and then Georgia did the same thing not too long after. And apparently police actually came to their location and tried to get it shut down, but they had the necessary paperwork. So they're running out of options at this point, which is probably why they had the recordings like they did. But in a bit of good news, AEW is finally unveiling their secondary singles title. It's the TNT Championship. So basically it's like a television title, because it's named after, the television network, which I'm fine with. I mean, I don't really give a shit what it's called as long as we had a secondary title, which is what we've all been clamoring for since the company debuted. We kept saying over and over and over again, we needed a secondary title, and now we finally have it. Now, they say that they're going to have the final at Double or Nothing, but depending on how this whole coronavirus shit goes down, we don't know if there will be Double or Nothing this year or not. What the fuck is on my face here? So that remains to be seen. But let's go ahead and get into the matches. The first match was Trent against Kenny Omega, who apparently was working through an injury. According to some reports, it might have been a torn labrum, which is like in the shoulder area. But kudos to him for working through this match injured, because this was actually one hell of an opening match. So highlights of this match, Trent with a Meteora and an Asai moonsault, Omega with a Tope Con Hero and a Kotaru Crusher for a 2 count. Omega hit his running pendulum backbreaker. Cody Rhodes and Tony Schiavone, who were on commentary, were funny as all hell. Trent starts focusing on the injured hand because it was broken back at Revolution. It's kind of still on the mend. But Omega hits a stalling German suplex on the floor that had a resounding thud to it, so that had to hurt. Omega with a buckle bomb up against the post, which looked pretty nasty. Omega with a perfect driver backbreaker for a 2 count. Trent with his step-up tornado DDT. A sliding German suplex, which looked really good. A half Nelson suplex. Omega hits a V-trigger. Trent hits a pile driver for a 2 count. Omega with a Snapdragon Suplex, Trent with a Lariat, Omega with a Powerbomb, transition into a V-Trigger. Trent hit an Avalanche German Suplex, which was actually kind of scary because he slipped not once but twice. And Omega nearly landed on top of his head, which could have been really bad. Trent hit the sexy Chucky knee for a 2 count. Kept trying to go for his crunchy finisher, but Omega counters with the one-winged angel for the 3 count with 1 minute remaining. This match nearly went the distance. They went 19 minutes in this opening match. And you might say, well, there was not really any rhyme or reason, for this match. And it's like, who fucking cares? I mean, why does that have to be, front and center every single fucking time there's a match? Not every match has to have a fucking story behind it. Can't just enjoy what we have sometimes. But this was a damn good opening match nonetheless. I gave it 4.25 stars out of 5. The next one was a women's match. Hikaru Shida, who's the #1 ranked wrestler, going up against the debuting Anna Jay, who definitely had that pompous, arrogant, heel-like persona. Had like a bow tie thing around her neck. And they actually let her get a little bit of offense in on Shida before Shida eventually, obviously got the win. Highlights of the match: Shida with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, Anna Jay with a hook kick and a blockbuster for a 2 count, which actually looked really nice. And then she hit a series of pinfall attempts like an Oklahoma roll, a schoolboy, backslide. I mean, it's like, damn, these are some pretty good pin attempts. Shida countered a schoolboy or schoolgirl in this case, with a triangle choke, which I've never really seen Shida use a triangle choke, so that was pretty interesting. She hit a suplex, her running knee strike, and then she hits the Falcon Arrow, which is usually her setup move for the 3 count knee strike, but she actually got the win with the Falcon Arrow. So kind of makes me wonder if she's going to that for her finisher, which, like I said, would be nice because that running, Shining Wizard like knee strike, it just doesn't seem to get a pop from the fans, But something like the Falcon Arrow, that would be a lot different. But a pretty solid match. I gave it 2.5 stars out of 5. And then we got a video package of Jon Moxley and Jake Hager basically talking trash to one another, and they're on a collision course now because Jake Hager is ranked #2 in the men's rankings, of course still undefeated, and in 2 weeks time they will face for the AEW championship in a no-holds-barred empty arena match. Now, of course, the empty arena is not that difficult, all things considered, but it's going to be a no-holds-barred match for the AEW championship. Interesting to see how that one turns out. And then we have the debut of the Murder Hawk, Lance Archer, against Marco Stunt. I was like, oh, yeah, Marco's going to get completely annihilated here. Lance's moniker is actually Murder Hawk Monster, but I prefer just Murder Hawk. I think it personally sounds better. But regardless, I forgot how fucking tall Lance Archer is. I mean, they build him at 6'7", but good God Almighty, he looks taller than that. Like, holy shit! And of course, the wingspan he's got on him. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's pretty obvious that they're going to be pushing this guy hardcore. And if you looked at the rankings that I showed at the beginning of this review, it's pretty obvious from the looks of it that they have Cody and Lance on a collision course because they have them on opposite sides of the bracket. So, of course, Jake Roberts have been talking a lot of shit to Cody about, you need to give Lance Archer a shot at you, and all this shit. So, unfortunately, in that case, it might make the tournament a little bit predictable because you have Cody and Lance Archer on opposite sides, so you might end up seeing a collision course between Cody and Lance Archer for the TNT Championship. So, but in all likelihood, Lance Archer, regardless of what they go with, is probably going to be the first TNT champion in all likelihood. So, there's that. But highlights of this match with Marco Stunt. Before this, Jake the Snake Roberts had cut another scathing promo on Cody. Archer, when he came out to ringside, he kicked someone, one of the crew members at ringside. He hits Marco with a lariat because right before the bell rang, because Marco basically got up in his face. He just manhandles Marco, hits a launching suplex where he puts him in a suplex and then just throws him, and it's just like Jesus. Hits a nice catatonic. Marco tries to fight back with an enziguri, but then Archer hits a pounce and then a big time fucking choke slam. It's like Jesus, and that could have ended the match right there. But then he picks him up in his finishing maneuver, basically his version of the iconoclasm that he calls the blackout. And considering the fact this guy is 6'7" and he's got a ginormous wingspan, I mean, when he picks you up for that, blackout, you're way in the fucking air, and then he just comes down and just slams you to the mat in an iconoclasm like slam. I was like, damn, that's a pretty effective finisher. And he gets the 3 count in the victory, and then he launches Marco into Orange Cassidy and the Guns, who were at ringside, in the crowd. So this was technically a squash match, but I'll be honest, because this was a damn good squash match, because it basically showcased, this is how you're supposed to debut a monster, because that's what he's supposed to be, the Murder Hawk Monster. You don't get that kind of nickname for nothing, you know what I mean? So in this case, I'll give this match 2.5 stars out of 5. And then there's another video package with Brody Lee cutting a promo and intimidating his subordinates by telling one guy, he's like, "It's Mr. Brody," and the guy kept fucking it up. And then there was another guy who yawned, and Brody sat down from him like, "There's no need to yawn in my presence," basically taking a couple more jabs at Vince McMahon, which I think is pretty funny. The next match was a tag team match between 8 and 9, which I'm not even going to bother putting on my personal rankings, because it's like, who gives a fuck? These are just, cannon fodder shit, against the Natural Nightmares of QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes. And they're actually, I think, 3-0 now in the tag team division, so they are rapidly moving their way up the ranks. Highlights of this match: QT hit a twisting senton for a 2 count. The Natural Nightmares hit a back suplex neckbreaker combo for a 2 count. Then I think 8 hit a lariat on QT, but the QT then hit a spitting flatliner on one of the guys and then hit a suplex on the other. Dustin gets the hot tag, and he does a Manhattan drop, a snap power slam, a running senton off the apron, and of course it's not today, kneeling uppercut. And then the Natural Nightmares do their double team finisher, that Dominator cutter maneuver, that right now I'm going to call the Natural Disaster. I just think it sounds cool. And they get the 3 count in the victory. Afterwards, Brody Lee walks out, stares down both QT, who actually had the mask that he was given by Brody Lee the previous week, but he threw it in the face of one of the henchmen, basically saying, "I'm not joining the Dark Order." And Dustin basically stared him down. I mean, for as intimidating as Brody Lee is and how tall he is, Dustin is right there with him, in terms of how tall he is, and Dustin Rhodes is not going to back down from anybody, doesn't matter who it is. And then Brody Lee gets into the ring, picks up the smallest guy of the Dark Order, and power bombs into the mat, and then just stirs a hole in the other one. So I'll tell you what, Brody Lee has really made the Dark Order seem like a legitimate threat. Maybe not with these stooges, but when you think about him and then Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, you think about that triad, basically. The Dark Order definitely seems much more intimidating with Brody Lee as their leader. And then we get a video package with Chris Jericho at his mansion, enjoying a little bit of the bubbly. And then Vanguard 1 flies over Jericho's estate, and Jericho basically tries to get him to join the Inner Circle again. Actually gives him a little baby t-shirt, and then Vanguard 1 flies off. And then Jericho gets mad and says, "Release the hounds!" And he releases all of his dogs out into the yard, which is like, what the fuck? Then they show another video package of Nick training at his house, and of course with Matt as well. Nick basically says, he's not quite ready to get back in the ring yet. So there's that. And then main event time between four of the guys who are going to be competing in the TNT Championship tournament. Sammy Guevara and Shawn Spears against Cody and Darby Allin. A lot of ins and outs from this match. Highlights of this match: Sammy was vlogging during the match, then got his phone stolen by Brandy. And then Darby came crashing into him in the guardrail. Cody with his layout uppercut on Sammy. Cody and Allin with tope suicidas. Sammy hits a running knee strike on Darby, which sends him out of the ring. Sammy hits a double stomp on Darby. Spears with a stalling suplex, and then him and Sammy basically started on Darby Allin. And then him and Sammy Guevara basically start making wagers about who can hold Darby up the longest. Actually throwing money on the ground as they try to one up each other. And then Spears tries to do it once more, but fails. So Sammy basically wins the bet and gathers up all the money, which is funny. Allin blocks Sammy's shooting star press by rolling over, allowing him to land on his back, but then he picks him up and hits a Schwein on Guevara. I have never seen that counter before. That was definitely a unique counter there. Cody gets the hot tag, hits a disaster kick on Spears, and a snap power slam on Sammy for a 2 count. And then he hits the Cody cutter on Sammy for a 2 count. And then Cody applies a modified sharpshooter on Sammy, and then a figure 4 leg lock on Spears before it's broken up by Sammy with a shooting star press. Cody hits a crossroads on Sammy, but Spears basically pulls him out of the ring, basically, and sends him over the guardrail. And then Darby Allin hits a pescado on Spears, and then the heels start attacking Cody, including Britt Baker, who is attacking her with her shoe, which was pretty funny. Cody hits a moonsault on Spears. Allin gets the hot tag and hits a missile drop kick on both Spears and Guevara. He hits a tope suicide on Sammy. Sammy hits a missile drop kick on a hanging Allin, who is hanging over the guardrail. Spears hits a running C4 on Cody, basically his running Death Valley driver. And then, in a crazy moment, Allin scales the pole, and while Cody's being attacked by both Spears and Guevara, Allin hits a coffin drop off the fucking pole, off the fucking post, onto both Spears and Guevara. Like, what the fuck? Cody hits an inverted superplex on Sammy. Spears hits a frog splash, on Cody. Spears, actually, I think Spears brought a chair into the ring. Allin basically steals the chair from Spears, and then Guevara grabs the chair himself, which distracts Allin. And Allin Spears gets a schoolboy onto Allin for the 3 count and the victory. So Guevara and Spears get the surprise victory. And then after the match, Cody tries to console Allin, but Allin in frustration decks Cody. So that certainly adds another dynamic to this whole thing. Pretty good match here. I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. And that's how this Dynamite was. Which, a studio show that actually felt like a studio show. Unlike, that empty arena setting that we had before. Didn't seem to help in the ratings, though. It dropped down to 685,000 this week, which kind of sucks. But NXT kind of suffered too, But with this whole coronavirus shit, wrestling hasn't been a huge priority. So hopefully this coronavirus shit isn't going to spell the end for professional wrestling, as we know it. That's probably an over-exaggeration, but you never really know. But my final rating for this show, it was alright. I'll give it a solid 6.5 out of 10. It was alright. And that's going to do it for this week on All Elite Review, if I can speak properly. Thank you very much for watching. Here are my updated personal rankings. And until next time, this is the PackerMan, signing out. Bye. You better like and subscribe or face the consequences. You have been warned.